Hello, fellow human! Welcome back to another Dank Doggo r/slash ChoosingBeggars. So our story for today is from wSlash He Sarid with the title of CB ChoosingBeggars Maid of Honor Bridesmaid. TLDR at the bottom. Background: my wife had lots of friends growing up through school. They continued into adulthood with less frequency as normal. However, when we started dating, they ghosted her, apart from a few work friends and her best friend. To my surprise, her best friend was my cousin's ex-girlfriend. When I was 14, she'd moved from up north at 16 and lived at my grand's house with my cousin and aunt. During this time, my grandmother used to complain she was eating all the food, smoking all the cigarettes she bought for my cousin, and call her a user. She was always a pleasant girl, and we were somewhat friendly. Fast forward to post-engagement, my wife asked her to be the maid of honor, and my wife's sister and a close friend to be the bridesmaid. So we of course paid for all the outfits, shoes, dresses, accessories, and we are paying for their hair and makeup to be done. The lovely bridesmaid then offered to do the makeup as a wedding gift for us, knowing how expensive wedding makeup is, and she is a professional beauty therapist, the same as my wife. Everything falls into place and is going excellent. We are getting married 2 hours away and offered to pay for the wedding party rooms. However, my father-in-law said he'd paid for his and his wife's sister. He also gave us money to wear the wedding as he was the traditional type. My brother said he'd paid for his and my mother is sadly not with us anymore, and my brother's girlfriend was home in Portugal for medical treatment not available in the UK at the time. So we paid for 2 nights. For mother-in-law's room, maid of honor, my room for the night before the wedding. The bridal suit was included in the wedding package and the photographer's room. Lovely bridesmaid insists on paying her own room, saying she's honored to be the part of a wedding. All is fine. The maid of honor is a single mom with a 12-year-old son. She doesn't work and is on pretty dang low state benefits. Over the course of a year, she starts talking to a guy online in New York. And she manages to talk to another friend into paying for her ticket to go visit this guy roughly 3 weeks before the proposed hen-do she was meant to be planning, and had picked the activities but not booked anything. And she messages lovely bridesmaid to ask her to do it instead as she is too busy. She flies to New York to meet this dream man, comes home 2 weeks later and messages my wife to say that she can't afford to go to the hen-do as the activities cost £75 and she doesn't have the money. Wifey was upset, so I offered to pay her share and my wife's share. As maid of honor said she would cover both of theirs but spend all her money while visiting this dreamy New Yorker. I felt compelled to do what I could to make my wife's hen-do special, as I'd went with 8 friends to pray for mine with my best man covering my share. He wouldn't let me pay, and all my friends had covered their own share. And her friends couldn't afford to go away, so it was our home city in Edinburgh. Hen-do comes and goes. CB comes but drinks only the free table drinks and eats the free meal. Wife-to-be has a great night, and lovely bridesmaid has organized a lot of great things and made gifts and put a lot of thought into the night to make it special. I made a joke about how the lovely bridesmaid should be the maid of honor. A joke I fully meant seriously, by the way. And my wife said I was right, but she couldn't do that to CB and asked her to step down. Later that week, CB phones in tears as she has no money and no food for her child, and her benefits are 4 days away. I gave my wife to be my credit card and told her to take her food shopping to get some food for her and the kid, and that she didn't have to pay us back. Note, this is a week after returning from New York. She spent a small amount, around £40 from my memory. This was summer 2018, a month before the wedding. I don't remember exactly how much. 2 weeks later, dreamy New Yorker flies to Edinburgh to live with CB. CB asked if he can be added to the guest list to come with her son and her. We of course said yes and let the wedding planner know and paid for the extra meal. Now the week of the wedding arrives, she sends a photo of Dreamy in his new suit for the wedding, a Viking looking mofo in a baby blue suit like Dumb and Dumber, if you know that movie. But hey, it's all good. We say we can't wait to meet him in person, etc. 2 days before the wedding, CB phones and says Dreamy has looked at hiring a car to come to the wedding, but he can't afford it, so we will need to give them a lift there and back. I said to wife to be that I had plans for us after the wedding that we could take them down, then drop them out at the train station the day everyone's going home. I sent her a screenshot of the train cost. It was £24, all three of them, to get home. She calls back 20 minutes later saying she can't pay for this and we should pay it since we can't bring them back after all. I refused. She could have gotten to the end of my tether in helping her, and now she had this man from New York who surely didn't come here with no money or no job. He's an artist. So now she refuses to come to the wedding, saying it's unfair as we are paying for everyone to get their hair done, but she doesn't need her done because she had dreadlocks, so we are being unfair to her. And that the lovely bridesmaids is doing the makeup, so don't be cheap. My wife hangs up crying her eyes out, but she also refuses to pay for it, having grown increasingly sick of being used by CB with the hen-do, shopping, all the wedding expenses for her to be so ungrateful. So I WhatsApp the maid of honor saying wife-to-be is upset that we can't afford to pay for her train, unfortunately. She messaged it back saying, "It's only £25. You have money. You have your own business." I replied a little irritated saying, "We have paid for everything for you. I'm sorry, but it's only £24. I'm sure Dreamy can afford it too. He didn't come 5,000 miles with no money surely." She then calls me screaming down the phone, "F you! How dare you ask him to pay to be part of your wedding? He spent money on a suit. It's not his job to pay for it." I ask it why it's my job to pay for it. Then she just screams, "F you! You are an effing fat prick! And I wouldn't come now even you pay for it. Go F yourself, and wifey can go F herself too," and hangs up. So I was wrong for expecting this guy who wasn't even invited and I've never met to pay for himself and his new family to get home from the wedding, when we have paid for literally every other penny associated or more. Once wifey stops crying, she phones the lovely bridesmaid and asks if she will be the maid of honor and explain the situation. Lovely bridesmaid said it would be amazing, but also if she does still want CB to be the maid of honor, they would hire a bigger car to take them all home. They have a very small hatchback. We said no, she's no longer welcome. We'd like you to be the maid of honor instead. It should have always been you since the hen-do. Lovely bridesmaid fiance came to my stag do in Prague. Having only met a handful of times, and we became great friends, and I promised him I would try to get the lovely bridesmaids turned into the maid of honor as she deserved it. So he knew we really wanted this and just didn't have her to ask CB to step down. In just 24 hours, she managed to create a bridal box for my wife with a lots of little de-stress items like sleeping spray, calming tea, nice chocolate, etc. for the night before the wedding, and stayed with her in the bridal suite watching movies and talking. Wedding day comes, she gets up and gives a heartfelt, emotional, and funny as hell speech she managed to write after being asked. Also, she did steal my cheesy jokes about even cakes in tears, lol. The wedding goes fantastically. Wedding planner, the day before the wedding, rearranged the tables to remove the extra places and had our custom seating plan reprinted with the lovely bridesmaids at top table with us. No one misses CB at all. TLDR, after paying for every single cost from the hen-do to the wedding including hotel, outfit, accessories, makeup, etc., maid of honor refuses to come to the wedding 2 days before the wedding because we can't offer a ride home afterwards or pay for her train, despite inviting an extra guest flying to New York on someone else's money before the hen-do to meet a guy from the internet. And we had to buy her food to feed her and her child after New York when she had no money. Hen-do equals to bachelorette party. Stag do equals to bachelor's party. This is what we call it in the UK. Wow, the choosing beggar once again didn't fail to blow my mind away of how low a person can be. Imagine how stressful it can be when there are only few days left to the wedding. Yet, this ungrateful scum tried to sabotage everything while begging for literally every single cent she could. So freaking cringy of her. The tipping point was that the CB even attempted to beg for her dates. The guy she met on the internet, the artist, free rides too. And that CB felt like she and her date are entitled for every single expenses there is. Because she didn't do her hair, so she should receive money. Free food? Free transport? Everything? Like, what the hell? I think these all have to do with CB truly believes she was like super important, like a hot shot or something, to attend this wedding as the bride of honor. And guess what? Nobody even noticed that she was gone. I'm disappointed at OP's wife as well. I mean, how could she not realize this sooner? And that the lovely bridesmaid only being recognized as a second or backup choice. As a side note, at first I thought Dreamy New York was supposedly to be rich. I mean, it makes sense if CB was a gold digger. It really surprised me that the New York guy was also as poor as her. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Dank Doggo appreciates your time. If you enjoy our content and want to see more of us, stay tuned and subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button or Doggo will cry. Also, you can always tell us your Doggo comments, your experiences in the comment section. I'll catch up with you guys later in the next video.